YouTube? My name is Ovida. You can call me Colton. I'm here today with a little bit of a commentary. It's a 31-9 ACR gameplay, team deathmatch at Hard Hat. But I want to do a little bit of a story today. It's going to be my first fight. Now, before we get started, just wanted to let you guys know that this is 4 years ago. This is the only fight I've ever lost. I've only been in 4, but whatever. Those can be saved for another time. This one I was, so let's see, 7th grade. I'm 15 now. That was 3 years ago. I was 12 when this happened. We were about a month into school, and I remember I tried to fit in with all these hard asses, and it just didn't work. And I remember one of them was like total douchebag, and he would always try and start stuff with people. So we used to like get out of school at 2:20, and so we would walk to the supermarket that was just down the street and wait for the bus to go home. And this kid was always like getting into trouble and stuff. I'm not gonna name names or anything, but so we're walking on this main street. Like, if you guys can imagine, we leave the school, and out in front of it, there's a street crossing, like most schools got. There's a little roundabout, and we were just before the roundabout, and he was walking, and he jumped in front of me and asked if he liked dick. He, not me. And I didn't want any trouble, so I just kind of like nudged him aside and kept walking. And please note, he had like an anger problem or something, because I just wanted to keep walking. And this kid, like, he was always doing stuff. Like on the bus, he was like pissing off the driver, and one time he even tried to fight the driver. Yeah, he's a little like jailbait kid, whatever. Because the driver wouldn't let him stand on the bus, and he wouldn't take that no answer from him, so he's all asking him to throw down and stuff. So this kid's total little punk ass. And so we are walking, but I was a little bitch myself, so don't get me wrong, I didn't know the first thing about fighting or anything like that. So alright, so back to where we were. We were walking down that main road just before the little roundabout. And I remember, so yeah, we talked about how he says he likes dick. He probably does. So after I nudge him aside, he says, "You want to fight?" And then I'm like in a total like nasty ass way, like he took that totally offensively that I just kind of nudged him. So I'm just like, no, not looking for any trouble. I mean, it's a month into my first month in junior high, so I was just kind of trying to get by, get adjusted, and I wasn't looking for, like I said, for any trouble. So as he's coming to back up to my face after saying all that, he says, "Come on, hit me." He like sticks out his jaw at me, and I just kind of push him aside again, and he just gets right back up in my face and starts asking me if I'm like too much of a pussy to punch him. And my response to that was, I just don't want any trouble. So he decided to be cool to continue messing with me until I finally pushed him hard enough, and he comes up to me. And just before you guys know, anybody who is not ready for a punch, you're pretty much gonna have a glass jaw. And he's coming up, and he swings as hard as he can and decks me the right side of my jaw, like right underneath my like ear, and like, I don't know how to describe it, like right underneath your ear where your jaw begins is like where he hit. And I fell straight to the ground, and I think I landed in a bush. But as embarrassing as it is, I was out cold. Somebody from across the street supposedly called the ambulance, which I didn't need because I was up in just a matter of like seconds. But what I remember laying there crying. Yeah, I'm gonna admit it, I was crying. But as I'm laying there, I remember people huddled around me and people talking about how that kid's a dick and how they're not going to talk to him. All kinds of these weird things. And then the aftermath, he ended up getting suspended and put on house arrest for like a month or something like that. And then he was suspended for 5 days. But so the ambulance is there, and they just start questioning me, and there were administrators that had run down there. And this is maybe a quarter mile from the school. So I was at school when he came back. I was pretty intimidated. It wasn't the greatest thing to be going to school with somebody who you just got in a fight with, or not really a fight, I guess you could say. He just kind of knocked my ass out. So that sucked. And one thing I remember significantly was all throughout up until he left, actually ended up leaving, got expelled in 8th grade and then came to the same high school as me and ended up getting expelled from there his freshman year. But during 8th grade, before he did get expelled, I remember him constantly coming up to me asking me, because apparently people were saying that I said that I could beat his ass and things like that, so he wanted to fight me again. And I just not looking for trouble. And now that I look back on it, he wasn't the greatest fighter. His technique, because there's videos, he's always getting into fights. There's videos of him. He's not the greatest. He'd probably win in a strength contest because he ripped. But if it came down to technique, I think I would win. At least now. Then I'm not so sure. So that's pretty much it for this commentary, guys. If you want to go, I want to know, like, my subscribers, and let me know how old you guys are, and if you've ever been in a fight, and if you have, like, who won, and what was it like for you, just your little experience. That's pretty much it. I'm just gonna let the gameplay play through. It's got about 30-40 more seconds left in it, so that's pretty much it, guys. I'm out.